So I have with me Renato. He is a Mega Man expert, self-proclaimed Mega Man Guru. It has been fact-checked and verified
by one person.
By one person, which may or may not have been myself or yourself. And today, right now, we're going to discuss gaming memories. It's a new thing. And
it's a new thing about things that are old.
Yeah, a retro is, what do they call it? Retro comeback or something now? Retro's making a comeback. Everything's retro nowadays, right?
Everything old is new again.
Yeah, everything old is new again. You're right. That's exactly it. And even Mega Man's coming back, right? Mega Man 11.
Oh, all the Legacy collections coming out.
Did you end up buying those, by the way?
I mean, no, because I refuse to pay money for games I already have.
Oh, you already got them. Okay.
Like I have old Mega Man games.
Like the physicals. You have the physical versions.
Yeah.
Dang. You know those are worth a fortune now, right?
Yeah, but they're mine.
Yeah, dang, that's crazy.
I'm not giving that shit away.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like, look behind me, right?
Yeah.
But I don't have a lot of the Mega Mans. I want to get them. But, you know, my list never ends. I always keep buying games. But Mega Man wise, you've always been into Mega Man. Always, right?
Mega Man 3 was one of the first games I ever played all the way through.
What was the first Mega Man game you ever played?
Mega Man 3.
Mega Man 3. And how did you stumble across it?
I borrowed it from a friend and then didn't give it back for like 12 years. I was that kid, I'm sorry.
But you gave it back?
I did give it back eventually.
Holy crap. Did he remember?
I felt bad, and I realized, you know, I should have given this back forever ago. And he was like, "Oh shit, man, I completely forgot about that."
Well, luckily for you, I guess, Mega Man 3 is on the lesser of the value end of the Mega Mans, right?
Yeah, because people don't know what they're missing. Mega Man 3 was the best.
For me, I think the first Mega Man I played, do you remember when they introduced the sliding?
That was Mega Man 3.
Oh, that was Mega Man 3.
That was the first game to have sliding.
Okay, so wait, yeah, I think I started on Mega Man 2 then. Because I just remember whatever I started on, there was no sliding. And then when I played the next Mega Man, there was sliding, and it like blew my mind as a little kid.
Yeah.
Right?
No, Mega Man 3 introduced sliding. Mega Man 4 introduced the Mega Buster, the charge shot.
Oh, the charge shot. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that first appeared in Mega Man 4.
For me, I mean, my early experience was very limited. I was hardcore into 2 and 3. Me and my friend would rent them all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Which one was the one that had Rain Man stage? Do you remember that?
Rain Man.
It was like 2 or 3, I'm thinking.
It wasn't 3, and I don't think it was 2 either. I think it was one of the later ones that had Rain Man.
Oh, dang. Maybe I did play one of the later ones then. We must have rented it. That was my favorite stage.
I mean, we could look it up. We have the internet, but...
Nah, we're lazy, though.
Yeah. No, that would take effort.
Okay, so you started on 3, and then and then what happened what was your first impressions?
I loved it. I had a great time. It was hard as hell, and I loved every minute of it.
So the difficulty didn't faze you at all?
Not even a little bit. I was used to playing like really hard games like Kung Fu and I don't know, other really old. I played the hell out of Duck Hunt. That shit was hard.
Yeah, actually, I seen you play Duck Hunt. You were like acing. Your aim was bang on.
I played To the Earth, which is actually impossible to beat.
What's it called?
To the Earth.
They messed up on the programming or what?
Yeah, there was the way it worked is it was one of those old Zapper games, and you'd fly through space, basically shooting objects and enemies as they came towards you, but there was no way to tell the difference between an object that would hurt you and an object that would go by you. And whenever you shot, it would cost you energy, which was also your life. So you had to just get super lucky at what you were shooting at
That's
and make sure you
insane.
hit. And you couldn't even beat it with cheat codes because there were bosses at the end of the stages. And if you cheated to give yourself infinite life, the way the game was programmed is it used that subtraction from your life in order to deal damage to an enemy, to read how much damage was being dealt. So if you cheated to make that subtraction 0, so you'd have infinite life, you couldn't actually damage the boss.
Oh, that's insane.
So you couldn't even beat the game with cheat codes. It was fucking impossible.
I wonder if they made did that on purpose. It's a sick.
I think it was just bad game design.
Okay, so
there were a lot of crappy games.
So you fell in love with Mega Man at Mega Man 3, and then
Yep.
How did you get into Mega Man after that? You just said, "Hey,
I just tried every Mega Man game I could get a hold of. My next Mega Man game was Mega Man 4, which I actually didn't beat for years because something about it I just couldn't understand, and I couldn't beat it. I couldn't wrap my head around what I was supposed to do. But I did go back and play Mega Man 2 and the first Mega Man, and I beat both of those. And I played, years later, Mega Man 5 and 6, and then after I beat those, I went back and beat Mega Man 4.
Was it easier the next time?
It was much easier as an adult and not a stupid kid.
Do you remember what was tricky about it? Like, was there a certain stage?
I'm not sure. For some reason, I couldn't beat the bosses, and I think it's just because I kept picking the really hard ones. Like, I'd always start off on, like, Pharaoh Man or Skull Man, and they'd kick my ass.
Okay.
I was supposed to start off with, like, Frog Man. Or Toad Man? I think it was Toad Man.
I've never been good at Mega Man games. I always enjoyed them as a kid, but I was too dumb at the time to figure out that bosses have weaknesses, and it's easier if you play them in a certain order, right? I could never figure that out. I was never... I played the hell out of it. Like, I remember Mega Man X. Okay, remember Mega Man X for Super?
Mega Man X was amazing.
That game,
was a fucking awesome game.
That was an amazing game. And, like, I sucked at it. Like, I never even came close to beating. I had no idea what I was doing. I could beat,
it was hard.
I could beat one or two bosses.
Game.
Yeah, I sucked. And I remember this. I think it was grade 4. I was in grade 4, and I rented that game. And it was a weekly rental from Rogers Video. Okay.
Yeah.
And it was due back like that day. I was at school, and I realized it's due back tonight, and I wanted to play it. So I faked being sick. I claimed I was dizzy because I had a dizzy problem. Legitimate health problem, but it wasn't affecting me this particular day.
Right.
And I went to the principal. They called my mother from work. She had to come and pick me up, take me home. She was an hourly wage employee, no salary. So she had to lose a day of work to come pick me up. I'm trying to fake being sick. And as soon as we get home, I went straight to the basement to play Mega Man X. And I felt terrible, though. As I was playing it, I felt terrible. But there's nothing I could do at that point, right?
Yeah. No. Once you've started lying, you gotta stick. You gotta stick to it.
Yeah. You can't.
Ride it to the end.
You can't stop halfway. Like, oh, you're gonna call my mother. I can't stop now. Like.
No, I never had an SNES as a kid, so I didn't actually play the Mega Man X games until I was basically an adult.
Oh, dang! I didn't know that.
Yeah, I found an SNES and found some old copies.
So you went from the NES to what system next? What console?
Probably the N64 was the next console I had.
N64.
And we had, the handhelds like the Game Boys and stuff.
And did you play Mega Man Legends? That being the only Mega Man game that you would have had access to?
Mega Man Legends was on the PlayStation. Mega Man 64 was the N64 version.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, okay. Were they different games?
Well, they were basically the same game. There was a couple small differences. Okay. Mega Man 64 had some graphical improvements because the N64 could handle better graphics than the PlayStation.
Right.
And I think there was a bit more content, but I never ended up beating Mega Man 64 because it was a rental, and then after the one time we rented it, I was never able to rent it again. And I don't actually have a copy of that one, so or an N64 to play it on.
I don't remember what the price of that one. I know Mega Man Legends 1 or 2 or both are going up in price. I follow the retro game prices pretty close, but those are getting they weren't very good. I do remember that. They're not the best games.
They were all right. They had a decent 3-dimensional shooter mechanic. Hell of a lot better than Mega Man Mega Man X7 did.
Oh, is that right?
Mega Man X7 was bad.
That's funny.
And it was sad because there wasn't a bad Mega Man game. There wasn't a bad Mega Man X game before that, right? Like, Mega Man X was amazing. X2 and X3 were awesome. X4 was great. X5 and 6 were good.
Okay.
They were never bad. X7 was just awful.
I watched a video on, I want to say it was X5. Like a guy did some guy, I forget which YouTuber, he does like long game reviews. You know how you can find game reviews on YouTube, but they're like 3 to 10 minutes long. This guy specializes in like 1 hour long per game, like really in depth. And I think he was saying X5 gets a bad rep, and he kind of went like in extreme in depth. I don't know how good your memory is. This is because I never played it. I just remember he was talking about one level that's like a shadow stage, and you're supposed to be stealthy. You're not really supposed to just blow everything up. Does that ring a bell at all? No,
I don't remember anything like that.
Yeah, well, anyways,
I played through X5 like 4 times.
It was also one that you had to collect gems and stuff, and you had to know where to dig. Does that ring a bell?
Oh, I don't remember any of that.
It was an X something. Ah, crap. Anyways, he did a really in-depth thing, and I guess you could say it's better than what people say if it is that game.
X5? I mean,
I wish I knew. I wish I knew which one. I don't remember.
I know it's a good game for sure. I know X6 gets kind of a bad rap, but it's fun.
So
it's fine.
When the PlayStation X games came out, did you get them right away? Did you know? No, because
I never owned a PlayStation either.
Oh, you didn't have a PlayStation?
Yeah, no. Much like the SNES X games, I didn't play the PlayStation ones until I was an adult.
Holy crap.
Yeah. So I missed out on a lot of that kind of growing up, but I'm also fine with that because it let me view the games more objectively, you know?
Right, okay. So when you were a kid, though, and you knew these games were coming out, though, like, were you following?
Yeah, I was following the news about them a lot. We had a subscription to Nintendo Power, so I saw all the articles about Mega Man X coming out. And then once I heard that they were releasing more X games for the PlayStation, I looked up that as best I could, followed that information. So
you're kind of like me, I guess. At the time, you couldn't play the game, but you were still following the news.
Yeah.
Like right now, I
couldn't play the games, but I was still following stuff about them, learning stuff about them. I got super excited to try Mega Man X3 when I read that you got to play as Zero. Zero's the coolest.
I didn't know he was an X3.
Yeah, he's been in all the Mega Man X games. Yeah. You can only start playing as him starting in X3. And X3 is his best incarnation. Every incarnation of Zero after that has been worse. As
in what department?
They took away his guns.
So he had guns in X3 and the sword.
In X2 and X3, he had a buster. He did not have a sword in the original Mega Man X.
I didn't know that.
That came in X2. And yeah, in X3 he had a buster which was as good as your fully upgraded buster in X2.
Mm-hmm.
And he had his sword, which is one of the most powerful weapons in the game. It kills basically anything in one hit.
And was he an unlockable character, or could you just pick him right off the bat?
No, you could... how it worked was you could switch to him during a level.
Mm-hmm.
But you couldn't play him for boss fights except for 2 specific boss fights. 2 specific mini boss fights.
Okay, so
when you'd get to a door, it would automatically switch you back out to X, and you could only switch to him once per level. And if he died at any point during the game, you couldn't play him for the rest of the game.
That's funny. So that was their way of trying to balance it out a little bit, knowing that he was more powerful than Mega Man.
Yeah.
Okay.
By the end of the game, if you got all the upgrades, you were more powerful than him, except for the sword, which you could actually get his sword if you knew what you were doing. So by the end of the game, you were actually more powerful than him, but he starts off way stronger than you.
That would be more noob friendly for somebody like me, at least.
Oh yeah,
it's great.
Off. They should have kept him that way, where X can get upgrades and become more powerful, and Zero's just this static character who starts off at this really high level of power, but can't actually become the most powerful character in the game.
And I like the idea that once he dies, you can't beat him anymore.
Yeah,
I think that makes it noob friendly for people like me, and it adds that risk versus reward type deal.
Yeah,
so maybe most players would only want to use him when they need him. Hey, I'm having trouble at this level. I'm gonna use Zero.
I'm gonna use the badass.
Yeah,
get this shit done.
So you moved on to the PlayStation ones after that, and do you remember? Did you play X? You played X8.
I played X8. X8 was okay.
And
it was fine.
Wait, sorry, not X8. Sorry, Mega Man 8.
Mega Man 8. I did play Mega Man 8. That was on the SNES. But again, that wasn't until as an adult because I never had an SNES as a kid. So, hang on one second. Come say hi. Say hi to Joel.
Oh, that's a cute cat.
Yeah, this is Princess.
Oh, that's cute.
Get.
So I do remember there was a period of time, I believe the last Mega Man game to come out it was in 2008, before there was a 10-year gap, roughly. No, I'll get my timelines wrong here. 1998, in the Mega Man non-X series, it took 10 years to go from 8 to 9. Is that right?
Yes.
Or 7 to 9. 7 to 9.
No, there was a Mega Man
8 to 9. 8 to 9. Yeah.
But here's the thing: Mega Man 9 sucked.
Oh, it did. Because that was.
I mean, it was a lot of people were super hyped for it, and a lot of people thought it was great. But all you have to do is take a quick look at what it had compared to what it was drawing from, and you realize there's a problem. For one thing, it went back to the NES graphical style, which I guess is okay, but Mega Man 7 and Mega Man 8 were both on the SNES. So there was an SNES graphic for Mega Man. There's no reason to backtrack the graphics, except that they're intentionally trying to play off the nostalgia.
Yeah, and it worked for me back around that era. I never bought it, but I was so hyped for that game. That's what got me back into Mega Man, and I actually just played my friend's copy.
The other problem with it is they backtracked a lot of the game mechanics. Remember I told you in Mega Man 3 they introduced sliding, and Mega Man 4 they introduced the Buster, the charge shot. They took both of those out for Mega Man 9.
Oh.
Why would they do that? You've already established these things. They've been in more games than they've been out of.
Yeah, see, I don't agree with that either. So they took it back to what, like Mega Man
2 controls.
2 level.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know it was poorly.
Which isn't super surprising in a sense, because in terms of sales figures, Mega Man 2 did the best out of the NES series.
I've heard that. Yeah, it's the most popular overall.
Yeah. So it makes sense from a business perspective that they would do their best to emulate Mega Man 2 instead of follow up on the improvements the series made as time went on.
And what about Mega Man 10? Did you get into that one?
I did not get into Mega Man 10 because Mega Man 10 has an easy mode, and I refuse to play a Mega Man game that has an easy mode.
That's probably what I would play. You know what? They probably tried to appeal to little kids. Maybe that was their way of trying to do like the Nintendo thing, and hey, this is little 4-year-old friendly Mega Man.
Fuck that. I played Mega Man 3 when I was 4, and I rocked that shit.
Yeah, you know what? They make games too easy nowadays.
They really do.
It's true, right? It's true.
Hand holding.
Yeah, they hold your hand, and they don't make them like they used to anymore. where you actually
No.
had to play the levels over and over again 100 times till you mastered it to finally win. There's no
I mean,
memorization anymore. You don't have to do any of that. It's just,
it's okay to not need that kind of difficulty, but difficulty can definitely be a good thing. I mean, look at how popular the Dark Souls series of games has been, in no small part because they're hard as hell.
yeah, I never got into that, but I see all the memes and all that. Dark Souls is supposed to be hard as
I
hell.
mean, I've played all. I started playing them when Demon Souls came out. I loved it. So I've played Demon Souls, Dark Souls 2 and 3. I haven't played Bloodborne yet, though. I really want to.
Bloodborne.
Yeah,
I've heard that
it's,
that came out in a few years ago, didn't it?
Yeah, some years ago now. Yeah, I don't know exactly when. I'm not good at keeping track of times, but Bloodborne did a lot of really cool things with the series that I really liked. And honestly, it's probably the best of the Souls games to come out so far, though that's not a popular opinion to have.
So here's another question. Did you follow the fiasco with that Mega Man main creator guy, forget his name, leaving to go and make Mighty Number 9?
I mean, sort of.
Did you
Mighty
play
Number 9 was a huge disappointment.
Did you play it? Like, did the Mega Man... I never played it. I had no desire to play it. It didn't interest me because it wasn't Mega Man.
No, I didn't play Mighty Number 9. I heard enough bad things. I did eventually watch a game. I did eventually watch a full playthrough of it from somebody who regretted backing it, but he decided that since he did back it, he was going to play it through. And holy crap, it's a piece.
That's
It's a piece
sad.
of trash. The thing is, if you took all the bugs out, if you took all the bugs and all the programming problems out, got rid of all the things that made it crash, it'd be like an okay game, but it's super short. There's not a lot of content, and there was like $4 million backed for that game. Where did that money go?
Yeah, so
It went fucking nowhere.
it went to his bills. That's where it went.
Yeah, it went to his pocket.
Do you think he rushed it then? Is that why it was a failure? Or
There's no. I can't believe that he rushed it because it ended up being released late. There were delays. There were a ton of delays.
yeah, that fiasco
So,
was...
I can't feel like it was rushed. There is a game on Steam called 20XX that's a roguelike Mega Man X style game, and it's amazingly fun, and it's way better than Mighty Number 9. Anybody who liked Mega Man stuff should look up 20XX.
I've seen that game. It's on my wish list on Steam.
It's a lot of fun. It's hard though. Just heads up, it's hard.
There was a game, I'm going to look it up right now. You probably never heard of it or played it. It was a Mega Man ripoff on the
I do live
NES.
under a rock, so
Cryo something. I'm trying to find it. Maybe I'll never find it. Okay, while I'm looking for it, okay. What do you think of Mega Man 11 coming out? Because the guy, that original creator guy, he has nothing to do with it, right? He's gone. He's still gone.
I'm not excited for Mega Man 11. With what they did with Mega Man 9 and Mega Man 10, I feel like all they're really doing at this point is just banking on nostalgia and not trying to actually improve or better the game. And that's not what game design is about. Game design is about trying to make progress, not necessarily trying to invent new things, but trying to do things in creative and interesting ways. Games are art, and art needs to be novel. If you just make
I'd agree.
the same shit over and over again, well, I have the old shit for that.
I feel like I feel like they're gonna rush it out. I think they're not gonna put it as much. It's just a random opinion. I just don't think that they're gonna put the effort that needs to be put in to actually revive the franchise. Because what I'm getting at is if this game does suck, it's really gonna hurt Mega Man going into the future. What do you think?
I mean, any more than Mega Man's already been hurt by all its previous failures?
Yeah, maybe that's true. I did
X7 kicked the series in the nuts. The Battle Network series never took off. Mega Man Zero never got that popular, though I never got to play it. I was really hoping to.
Mega Man Zero. What's that one?
It was a side-scrolling thing set in the future of the Mega Man X universe, where you played as a revived Zero and X is the bad guy.
What was that? An official release? What system?
Yeah, it
was
was
that?
for the Game Boy Advance, I think.
Oh, Game Boy Advance. Oh, that's interesting.
Look it up.
So what I did do some research and I found out the reason why they waited so long to make a Mega Man 11 was because the previous ones did so poorly, number one. And so they kind of wanted the franchise to take a break. And also that other dude left. So they didn't really have anybody to take the gauntlet and become what they quoted the Mega Man guy, the new Mega Man guy. But then they said, I'll read the quote here. It says, what was really nice was when we released Mega Man Legacy Collection. It did really well. It had 1 million sales worldwide. And it was very much a way of numerically showcasing to people internally, so being Capcom, that there is a strong fan base. There are people waiting for a new Mega Man game. We were able to show that with those numbers. We wouldn't have been able to do it without our fans and blah, blah, blah. So basically that was their way of showing Capcom, hey, look, there's demand for a new Mega Man. The fans really are willing to put their money where their mouth is. Right?
Absolutely. I mean, but here's the thing. The Mega Man Legacy Collection did really well, but Mega Man 9 and Mega Man 10, not so much.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's in no small part because the amount of effort that went into Mega Man 9 and Mega Man 10 does not reflect the amount of effort that went into those old Mega Man games.
That's what I'm worried about. What do you think of the new art style, though, that with Mega Man 11?
I haven't seen the new art style.
Have you seen the trailer? You haven't seen the trailer yet?
I have not seen the trailer.
I don't like it personally. I see fans are kind of... I mean, in the end, maybe it doesn't really matter. It's just more the gameplay. But
I've got a computer. I'll look it up.
Yeah, check it out. Put the trailer up and see what you think. I didn't like it. It hurts my eyes looking at it. I really think it's ugly. I would have rather... I'm a retro guy, sure, so I'm biased, but... Heck, I would have rather have 16-bit graphics than that style that they went with.
That looks fine to me. I'm actually kind of glad for that, because that says to me that they're going to try something new and not just kind of rely on the old stuff.
The nostalgia. Okay, that makes sense. I never thought of that. And so it's a new graphical style, different from the PlayStation.
Which says to me, at the very least, there's a chance that this will be actually a new game. And not just a rehash of old concepts.
They added in, there was another controversial thing that they added in, and I'd have to rewatch the trailer, but it's some sort of like time rewind ability. I didn't like that idea. I think it is an actual ability that uses up your mana.
I mean, if that's a special weapon that you get from killing a boss, whatever, or even if it's a special weapon that you start with. In Mega Man 3, you started with the Rush Coil right off the bat, which let you get some high jumps in. There's definitely a precedent for starting off with a special weapon, and if it's a limited usability, that's cool. That could work.
Okay, right. I think it is. Well. I think it is limited.
If it's just like if it's just like Braid style, where you can rewind as much as you want whenever you want, well, that doesn't help anything.
So here's
not anything against Braid. Braid was a great game, but it was a puzzle solving game, and being able to rewind like that was actually helpful for it. Whereas Mega Man's a platformer action game, and being able to rewind in an unlimited fashion would be problematic.
Right. Oh yeah. If it is unlimited, yeah, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know the answer. I doubt it is unlimited. That wouldn't make sense to me. Okay, so here's a question for you. I had a friend, Zohair, has this question for you. He says, could Mega Man get a full reimagined reboot like the Metroid series got with Metroid Prime? So not like a Legends RPG style, but like a straight up, like almost like a first person shooter type deal.
I would say yes. If they were to make a Mega Man game in the style of Metroid Prime, that could totally work. But again, if it's done well, Metroid Prime was awesome. Metroid Other M was awful.
I never played Other M, but I played Metroid Prime. I own that one.
Metroid Prime was great. And if they were to do a Mega Man game in the style of Metroid Prime, as long as they handle it well, as long as they use the good ideas that were made clear in Metroid Prime, I think that could work really well. There's already a lot of similar themes. You've got a chargeable energy cannon. You've got power-ups that you collect throughout the course of the game. You could totally do it.
That's what I was thinking too. Mega Man is very similar to Metroid in that they both collect power-ups and get more powerful as you progress. And new abilities.
The big difference between Mega Man and the Metroid series is the Metroid series is about exploration and backtracking, whereas the Mega Man series is about taking on defined objectives in a pattern that you usually set for yourself. But that doesn't mean that those mechanics and that style wouldn't translate. It would just be a level-based game instead of an open-world exploratory game.
Right. Okay, I see what you're saying. So instead of copying Metroid Prime completely and making an exploratory game, you could just make it level-based.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a great idea. I would buy it.
Absolutely do that. And there's a lot to be said for linear game design. You can plan around how a player will approach any given problem, so you can make any given problem more interesting to face.
Oh, okay, yeah. Did you see that Mega Man fighting game that a fan made? I'm going to look it up right now. I'm going to type in...
That sounds really familiar, actually.
I'm going to type in Mega Man fighting game.
I think I might have had that on an emulator.
It's called... It's not Mega Man the Power Battle. I see that's an actual arcade game that came out in 1995. It's a Mega Man... It's Mega Man 2 based. It was like NES... I'm trying to find it now. I wish I could remember the name. It might be Mega Man 2 Power Fighters? No. Mega Man fan game. It was a fan game anyways.
Yeah.
You could play it online, and I haven't played it in a while. I played it when it first came out, and there were players playing it. It was popular.
All right.
And they had it was
I don't think I played it. I'm probably thinking of something else.
It was kind of like a Smash Bros. Sort of style fighter.
Okay.
Without the, getting knocked out of the arena. And each character had different special abilities. They had like real legit Mega Man 2 characters.
Cool.
It was pretty cool. I don't know what the release date is on Mega Man 11, but what do you think the sales would be given the long hiatus that it's been since the last release? And the fact that fans have been demanding it for so long, do you think it's automatically a hit? Or
Well, I mean, Mega Man 9 did pretty well, in no small part because there was a lot of hype for it. Mega Man 10 did not do as well, partly because a lot of people were disappointed in how Mega Man 9 turned out, and a lot of the marketing for Mega Man 10 wasn't that great. So, I'm not really that savvy on the business end of things, but I wouldn't anticipate great sales for Mega Man 11. I think there are a lot of people who will want it, but the taste for new Mega Man games has been kind of soured by recent experiences.
So you think the fans are going to be cautious? They're going to kind of wait?
I think so. I think there's going to be a lot of caution. I think if it does take off, it won't be right away. There will be some people who buy it right away, and then if it gets good reviews and people hear good things about it, it might take off later.
And what do you think of this? I know a fan made this game, or was making this game. I don't remember what it's called. I think it got shut down. But there was a 2-player, they called it a 2.5D Mega Man game being made by fans.
Okay.
Do you think Capcom should be making simultaneous 2-player Mega Man games, or does it kind of
I think if they were to make more entries in the Mega Man X series, that'd be great because you could have people playing as X and Zero at the same time, or even Axel, even though nobody likes Axel. But even in the main series Mega Man games, you could absolutely do that. You could have people playing as Mega Man, Proto Man, and even Bass.
Well, I remember Proto Man. He was always fun.
Yeah, Bass didn't come up till like the Super Nintendo games. But you actually could play as Bass in Mega Man 8, I think.
Do you have to unlock him, or you could get him right at the beginning? Do you remember?
I don't remember. It's been a long time since I played Mega Man 8. I only played through it once. I didn't find it that interesting or great, but playing as Bass was fun. So I think it would be totally viable for Capcom to make a Mega Man game where you could have a 2-player mode.
I did find that NES game that was a Mega Man clone, a straight up ripoff. It's called Cryon Quest with a K.
Cryon Quest.
Krion. Cryon Conquest, I think.
Cryon Conquest, yeah.
You found it?
Holy shit! Yeah, this is just straight up a clone.
Yeah,
there's I'm looking at some images. There's like level elements that are just taken straight out of Mega Man.
Yeah, it was a straight up clone. Even some of they were somewhat unique on their power ups, I guess, but a lot of them were very similar to the Mega Man power ups. But the game does have a catch, so it would have potentially been a really good game that maybe could have turned into a full on series. You know, maybe we could have Cryon Conquest 10 today. But where they screwed up was, I think the game was clearly rushed because it's incredibly difficult to the point where it's basically impossible, and you only get one life. That's it.
Wow.
One life.
That's rough.
If you die once, you start all over. No saves, no password system, one life. Like
that is rough.
How brutal. And who designed that thing? Why would you design a game that hard with one life? Like, to me, can't be that hard to program.
Well, come on. Did you ever play Rogue?
No, I never played Rogue.
Well, Rogue is harder. A computer program that was designed to beat Rogue could beat it 7 out of 10,000 times.
That's funny. Hey, at least it's beatable, I guess, eh?
It is beatable, so it's better than To the Earth. Here, you can cry at me. You can chill out.
Anyways, I think I'll let you go for now. That's we'll cut this podcast off there for the Mega Man topic.
All right. Say bye, Princess. Bye.